All right, so I'm pretty excited about this lineup right here because I get to learn a lot from these three jabrones. So I don't have any kids. He's got 2 kids, 3 kids, like 19 kids, and my only kid is that little guy walking around. Meet up. So, how do you guys stay engaged, and how do you guys support each other's kids, or do we have any news stories or anything that's can't see? Because here's my guy right here. Like, this is the only baby I got. Oh, come here, my baby, my baby. So yeah. So what's been coming up in the lives of kids? Like, enlighten.
So these guys got some cool stuff they've been doing.
I know you guys saw like the video, right, of my kid, like which is
Spider-Man.
crazy. Like, so we just went to Disneyland, right, as a family, and dude, it was crazy. People ask me how it went, and I feel bad because on one end, you expect someone to say, we had a great time. It was interesting. Like the way I say it is like I had a great time with my kids. My wife had a great time with my kids, and we kind of butt heads a lot throughout the whole experience. A lot of learning experiences. But like for me, and I just think to like at this point being what could be halfway through my career. And the wear and tear that your body goes through, man. Like I was in pain every single day, and yeah, everyone is when you walk all day at a theme park. But just from 3 ACL reconstructions to just the older you get, and the way that your body breaks down, like man, I literally had to like ibuprofen every morning, every night. I've developed this reaction to cold weather. So I literally, when I get cold, I break out in hives.
Dude, that's the weirdest thing.
Have you heard of it?
No, I saw you at 182, and like you got all that shit. I'm like, what's wrong with you? And you're like, I'm allergic to cold. I'm like, first of all, that's not a thing, my man. Like that's legit.
That boy broke it. Yeah. So like, I'm over here taking Benadryl. Like I'm taking Benadryl. I know I belong in like a big like a
hyperbaric chamber. You're like, is this
like that Bubble Kid? What's that movie where the dude's like
the Bubble Boy?
Yeah. I need one of those.
I get that, man.
I'm like having to pre-treat everything, dude. Like ibuprofen and like twice a day taking Benadryl for environmental causes. Like this is how do you explain that with a serious face to anybody and take you seriously?
Like I can't come over.
I'm just tripping, dude.
Like above 73 is not.
Oh yeah, you got to get it just, dude. Even in the heat of the summer here in the desert. If the AC unit is blowing on my arm for long enough, I get bumps, dude. There's a doctor out there.
He's always turned up to 82. All the windows closed.
You can't make this up.
Yeah, when does a doctor ever said to someone, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna prescribe you a warm blanket"?
Allergic to cold.
Yeah, dude. It's a thing.
I'll prescribe you a heater. Here's my prescription space heater.
Yeah, dude. But I mean, at the same time, it's like right, like we do all that we do, like John, you get there. Well, I'm sure you do all that you do for people, Hank. Yeah. But it's crazy how our lives is just driven by the what the life we're trying to give our kids, like the life that we're trying to build with our spouses. That whether it was a life that you never had when you grew up, or something that was modeled to you, or just that you aspire to give to your family. Like it's an amazing thing, and thankfully. Like for me, it came back to like that whole Disney trip happened in a 2 week span or 2 weeks prior because of Gilbert and Gilbert's encouragement to me to, and the guys that we were all sitting there talking with him about like, man, how short life is and how fast it passes you. And dude, I think the coolest thing for me is that like, we're talking about Austin. I just had Austin and his family on my heart. And I think the last time we were here, like Manny was talking about how, he was getting ready to take. Well, you tell us about it, man. Like, tell us about what you got to do with like our sinking brother Austin's.
Yeah. So for the last, I think it's been 7 or 8 years. When my girls were younger, and I got 3 beautiful girls. This gray hair.
That's where that comes.
That's from that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That and the drinking habit. Thank you, girls.
Also from the girls.
Yeah. Also from the children. And the last thing, Daria, I love you. And the girls, they ruined their mother. But now, on a serious note, So what happened was, we were talking, and I was telling Vodka, hey man, I'm gonna be taking my girls to the daddy-daughter dance, and one of the things that Austin asked of us is to take care of his family. And so I told Vodka this, like, I'm going to be taking him. I know he has girls. And so I said, hey, you want to join us? We're gonna do the daddy-daughter dance. And so CCV hosts this daddy-daughter dance every year. It's super, a lot of folks are like, oh, it's at a church thing, and it's not like that at all, man. It's the whole focus is on the daughters and the girls. Yeah. And so he already had this trip planned, but it was an amazing experience, man. We, my girls, I asked them permission because that's our special day. We do our thing. And I said, hey, can we invite, the Pecks, Marley and Harper? Can we bring them with and bring them into this family thing that we do? And they were super on board, super supportive. We'll post some pictures and a few videos of the event. But, man, it was so fun, so much fun just to see those two little girls be little girls. Yeah. They've had such a rough go for the last few years. And one of the things I told Aaron is like, I know we're not going to be replacing Austin. I know this is not what this is about. But my goal was they've had a rough year and will continue to have a rough time of terrible firsts. Yeah. If that makes sense, it's like they're going to first Christmas without Austin, first birthdays, first things. And all I wanted to do is I wanted to have a good first in that sea of not so good first. And that was my whole intent, and that was my whole goal is I want them to have a good memory, man. And I'd like to expand it to where some of the other guys bring their daughters, but the experience, just seeing the glow on their face, the girls just smiling, having fun, being goofy, being relaxed, just not having to worry about anything for those couple hours that we were there, and enjoy themselves. It was fun, man.
So how was that interaction? Because it's a big testament to you, Daria, and your girls. When when you ask the girls, is it cool if we bring these other two girls? Which they know those two, but to not even think about it's like we always talk about on here is how much of a family and how much a big family we are. If you need something, I need something, we're gonna take care of it together. Right. But how is that interaction like throughout there? Because I can just imagine all five of you just in a big circle just dancing like
it was like
beautiful
that.
Dude. You post some pictures.
I posted videos and pictures. And the thing that everybody asked me is like, are they all your girls? And I just kept saying, they're all mine. It's like like daddy's got a problem. These are all my kids. Like ain't putting no tails on any of them, but they're all girls.
And that's the cool part is again it just goes to that where your girls went right back to what we all know, and that's we take care of them. These are their little sisters.
They are,
and the videos of them dancing with them and just doing little twirls, and it was just girls getting to be girls and have fun.
That
part was really neat.
It was neat, man, and I'm super proud of my girls for just having that heart to just bring these young little girls into our lives, and now they're part of this, man. Now there will always have this special one day where this old bastard is going to be their daddy for a couple hour and a half, grandpappy. But it was fun, man. They loved it. They had a great time. We had dinner and hung out, and the girls just, man, they were so much fun and they were so happy. We can't wait to do it next year. So for all y'all that have 20 babies at home, we can bring them, and I think we need to make this a tradition. And even for you single guys that don't have kids yet, man,
I'll show up with him.
Yeah, right. It was such a great experience, man. Just to take them away and let them have this one experience, and to the point where Aaron texted me the morning after and said, hey, these girls, they went to bed talking about how much fun they had.
Nice.
And they woke up talking about how much fun they had. And so it touched my heart, man, that we said this is what we're going to do for Austin, and we're all kind of in our own special ways getting to live that out. And I know Adriana's done stuff with the girls too.
Oh yeah, Adriana picks up Marley, and they're both into scary movies, which I am not into at all. Or my boys, I never pay to be scared. I feel like that's something I pay to not do.
You get paid to get punched in the face.
So I know she picks her up and she takes her, and Marley's awesome. Marley FaceTimes me all the time, and we just sit and talk, and she FaceTimed me one night, and I just watched her make her lunch for school, and we just talked about all the stuff she's gonna eat. We talked about her days gonna go. So that's what it's about, you know, to fill that role of she's getting to see all the knuckleheads in uniform. And we all sit there and we do a shout out. She FaceTimed me the other day. We were going to a call and we're talking to her, and everybody's saying hi to her, and she was just happy that, you know, just to see us all happy to talk to her, man. So it's neat that everybody steps up to really still take care of each other, because that's what we're supposed to do.
Don't forget.
That's right. That's right. And then that's what we said we'd do. And you know, I know everybody in this room is a, you know, we say we're gonna do something, and we do.
Yeah.
So we got a little Disneyland. We got a little daddy-daughter dance. What about you and your little knuckleheads?
Well, I don't get to experience too much of the daddy-daughter stuff. I got two boys, so they
wait. We're gonna pray you never have to do the daddy-daughter.
They need physical love. That's all they get. They don't need too much emotional. Yeah. No, mine are doing awesome right now. They're both doing basketball, and my boys are sports freaks, man. They're little mini ESPNs. So we do football, we do indoor soccer, we do boxing. They do everything, but right now they're doing basketball, and they're both doing awesome. And it's cool. I try to use these sports times as life lessons rather than I'm not trying to make an NBA or NFL player. I'm trying to make a good man grow up. So teach them about teamwork and being tough and taking care of stuff and stepping up when you need to step up, and being humble enough to be coachable and be teachable. So they get a lot of that in there, and it's really cool, man. I'm super proud to sit and watch them and see them get challenged and tested and hurt, and seeing how they react to it, because all they know is what they see their dad and all their uncles do. Is we just step up to it, and we kind of embrace that bad situation that nobody wants. So I get that part of it, man. It's really cool. It's really fun to do, but you know, I don't get too many of I get more farts and burps and wrestling. But I mean, it's the emotional love in a different way. They're big mama's boys. So Adriana gets all the sweet stuff, and they rub her hair till she falls asleep, and I get jumped on as soon as I try to fall asleep.
Yeah, you get to fight, but man, your kids are gnarly, man. Like they remember like sports stuff that like blows your mind. Like just sitting in the truck the one day, I was like, you know, I'm wrapped up in whatever I got going on, and it was like NFL playoffs. I'm like, man, hey dude, who's playing today? They looked at me like I was an asshole. And they went, who's playing, what time they're playing, what channel it's on, who's starting, and I'm like, this is simple. Simple teams would have been just fine, but thanks. You know, it's wild, man.
The odds are, yeah, man, yeah. I grew up the same way. I was a sports little freak when I had 3 older sisters, so I didn't have anybody to play with all the time, you know. But they do, man. That's all they do all day. Is if they're not playing basketball together, they're playing football, they're wrestling, they're fighting, they're doing something. They're mad at each other, and 10 minutes later, they're mad because I'm keeping them apart. So it's a cool experience, man. It's fun, dude, and it's all completely different perspectives of what we get.
Wild,
but
true that.
He's actually one of the few that has a blend. You know, we don't have too many guys that have boys and
it's
girls.
all one or the other.
Like, yeah, it's crazy, man.
thank you, Jesus.
Yeah,
It's a Jesus.
yeah.
You know where it's interesting though, like is like for example, like just the experience of parenting and where it kind of teaches you. And sometimes it's not even being a parent; it's having a little brother, little sister, or just siblings growing up. We had a call yesterday where we were there for a younger sibling, a 1-year-old, and we had to transport. But because of there was a 7-year-old that was home, and both little boys, and the 7-year-old was crying, and sucked to see his little brother like hurting like that, and dad was real frantic and wanted to ride. Mom was gone, was in downtown, but was going to meet him at PCH, so to help the dad out, because the aunt was still on her way, we hung out with the 7-year-old at the house, right? So and the 7-year-old is like still crying. Like throughout the whole call, I was trying to keep him calm and try to talk to him. And at the point where the ambulance was going to leave with the 1-year-old and the dad, the 7-year-old starts walking and crying, and we already offered that to the dad that we would stick around for the 5 minutes that was necessary. And as soon as we're walking in and I see he's crying, I was like, hey, you play Fortnite? And the kid lit up, dude. He's like, oh yeah. He goes, he hits the power button, he starts powering up, dude. And he's sitting there literally wiping his tears, wiping his snotty nose, and trying so hard to like start up and show me this Fortnite. And I was just, it made me think about, and like I played a lot of Fortnite too, so I was really familiar with it, but I'm like talking to him. And it's crazy because being a parent or having that life experience, it was so easy. He wasn't our immediate patient we're dealing with, but man, I felt like it was so easy to be in his world, and took his mind. He was like laughing and smiling in that short period of time. But like, how many times, right, do we go on calls? Or I feel like even, you know, we had a pregnancy that was really uneasy, but man, I feel like when you're sitting in there in a room full of dads, like, oh man, like we sincerely so much care for, especially our young pediatric patients that, you know, whether you're EMT or medic, like, man, it hits so close to home when you see a sick kid, but especially when we can relax, like, if there's anything that triggers game time, it's kid calls.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
but sure, when we're relaxed, it's because like we're relieved. There's that sense of relief, like, all right, it's not a choke or it's not a real, like, whatever. It's like, hey, it's a manageable situation that we can give good customer service, and at least like we're not on like red alert, like something like, I don't know if you
we actually had a pretty good one the other day. We had a guy. We had another good one the other day, but this was one of our guys, Nick, just found out his wife's pregnant, and he's an ex-NFL player, so he's an old jock, you know, and he wants to have that boy to raise to be a giant like he is. And we were talking about, you know, the difference between boys and girls, and he was asking everybody's opinion, and we get a call for this dad who's having a seizure, and the dad's out of it, and he's hurt, and he's a big guy too, and we're trying to take care of him. And he has a son and a daughter there. She's maybe 5 and the son's probably about 8. And the whole time the daughter's just bawling. She can't believe her hero is hurt. Yeah. He's sick. Something's wrong. All she cares about is, Daddy, can I rub your head? Will it help? And he's out of it still. And it kind of like almost got me super mushy, because I'm like, this poor girl, this is her hero. This is her first love. Yeah. And all she did was care about him. And the boy just walked around the house like nothing happened. Like, man, I gotta go to school tomorrow? Yeah, he asked Mom, does this mean I get to stay home from school? You gotta be playing. I was like, see, Nick, have a girl, damn it. Look at these boys.
The weirdest part about that was like the guy was sitting on the couch, and there was nothing like behind him. I was talking to his wife like behind him, and the daughter's like holding his head and then starts petting him, but like from back here, that man thought it was me. And then all of a sudden he comes to and starts looking at me. I'm like, dude, my hands are here. Like, that ain't me, man. He's like, no, Daddy, no. I'm like, no,
that's so sweet, dude. She just cared about him, but that knucklehead boy, man, he just cared about whether he got out of school the next day or not.
He was dribbling a basketball in the kitchen. So, Mom, this mean I don't gotta go to school?
Trying to cross us over while his dad's
about to break his ankles. But so, like, what I've been worried about, or not worried about, but you know, Zach and I don't have kids, but you
need to be worried.
Yeah, be worried.
Right answer.
True that.
Look at Manny's hair.
Yeah. Oh,
me too.
Yeah. But
you got like 4 or 5 maybes. They might be yours. We're not even sure.
just like,
we got DNA.
Well, that's why I got that doorbell cam.
Hey, if they ain't on your taxes, they ain't your kids.
But so you had 3 girls first, and then you had this big full Tongan boy. How did that change that dynamic of, you know, you went from all your princesses, now you have, like, how did that change not just your vibe but the whole family vibe? Because I see your girls, they all came to Dickie's with us to eat, and you can see like they're all like, oh, he's over there, but I'm gonna watch him. You know, like they all like protect him from a different distance. And but yeah, so tell us just a little bit about that,
dude. You know, I mean, I'm already a big teddy bear as it is, so like, and I'm the youngest of 3 boys, and you know, I grew up around dudes, and my brother's always like, you know, it was like similar like you're saying, Zachary, like, you always got black eyes. I mean, my brothers couldn't give me black eyes, or my dad would give them black eyes. So I mean, we just every possible way we could harass each other. But with having girls, I remember like my wife and I, when we first got pregnant, I mean, we didn't, she did.
Like, but, for sure, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Something wrong, but. We were hoping to have all boys, right? And so we end up having a daughter, or we find out at the ultrasound we're having a daughter, and it's like, oh man, like, you know, you don't want to say you're let down, but when you have expectations, like, and so we kept trying for a boy, get a second daughter, third daughter, and at the time we thought that my wife wanted to be done at 3, and I remember just thinking like, man, I don't know how I'm gonna convince her otherwise, but I want to try for one more. And it took a year, but I remember she like broke my heart, dude, because at one point, a year after our third daughter was 1, she brought the conversation about, this is probably about time for you to go and get the procedure done. Even though she knew where I was at, that I was really unsettled. And I felt like, I remember I was heartbroken for a while, and it took me a while to process what I was thinking. But I think I always wanted opportunity to raise a young man. I wanted opportunity to raise like what I feel like today's society is so hard to have, like whether it's like I just wanted to raise get a chance to raise a gentleman that is gonna like the way that the world or society says what it means to be a man, like to be different. And I think for a lot of us, like we've tried to change some of the areas in our profession that we feel like are maybe a little misguided in that sense, or we feel like we can be more productive with what we do if we change the culture of like manhood in the fire service, right? Yeah. So we finally found out that we're having a fourth, and I'm having a boy. Before that, I had to redirect my perspective of like, all right, if we're only gonna have 3 girls, then it made me also excited to get the chance to someday these girls bring a boy around the house. Like it's my you want to
need a little boy to
tough guy.
fight them.
Right.
No, more
Right,
like I want
He's
you can speak on that.
Bigger than the 20.
He's gonna be bigger than when he's 6.
But like for me, like
sitting there in a diaper, I'm a smoky.
well, when we had 3 girls, dude, like I was like, well, if my girls brings a boy around the house someday, then I don't want to miss out on that life experience to invest in those dudes someday, right? Like, and at the same time, like when we were gonna have a boy, like, dude, I was pumped, dude, because don't get me wrong, I love my daughters and having the relationship between a father-daughter, like, that are the ways but they're very different than my son, like. And I could care less about what type of toys like my son played with when he was born or what he plays with now. But it's interesting, just like they still are different. Like it's not like my son knows how someone would characterize a gender specific thing, object, toy, whatever, tool, whatever. But it always seemed like no matter whatever I was holding, which a lot of times it'd be like if I was working in the backyard, I had a tool on, my son had to be holding that. Or even to this day, like. There's a video. I don't know if I showed you Hugo, but it was I think it was Gilbert. My daughters were dancing. My wife, I was at work. So my wife was videoing them, and they're just dancing, dude, to some music. And out of nowhere, like I got like my son in his chonies comes with like just a stick, and he's like pow pow pow. Like he just goes in frame and out of frame.
Starts murking foods, dude. I like it.
Like, Daddy, take a break. Like, go wipe your nose or something. But it was interesting, like learning about how. Like that's what I love, dude. Like I love, and I am in some ways I'm tougher. I'm tougher and I'm rougher than my son. But I think that comes from just a place where the life that we've lived and what it means to be a young man in this world. And I don't want to just rough up my son. I want my son to understand like life lessons, and that's what I'm excited about, But they're very different because I'm still like, dude, my girls, like my oldest daughter has been like my guardian angel. Like, I will humbly admit that there have been times that my wife and I are like have been in these arguments and yelling, and then my oldest daughter happened to walk in. And it's like, oh, dude, like, what about this? What about me is so off right now that the little 2-year-old in the room at the time is the adult. What a weird like life lesson. But yeah, man, she's always kind of been that in my life. So it's kind of like give and take. At the same time, I got a little wrestling partner. Like I call him, I probably shouldn't do this, but I call him like best buds. I was, hey man, best buds or what? Little 2-year-old knucklehead son. He's like, yeah. Like, and he shoots me with a spider web. But,
See that? You need to get you some buds.
Yeah, I got one. Got a little like Airbud's cousin over there. He's just chilling.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, we all learn that kids are selfish creatures and they take a lot out of you.
Yeah,
but they're pretty fun. Yeah. Manny said it perfect. The kids are the most fun and frustrating thing you ever have in your life, man. And they do. They bring both. So it's been a good time. You'll see soon.